Okay, GOhioCast podcast. It's December. We're right before Christmas, and we have a big Cincinnati tournament coming up. We have Joe Campolongo on tonight. Coach Campolongo, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm glad to be here and appreciate what you're doing for wrestling.
Okay, so you are one of the directors of the Glenn Sample Coaches Classic. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
Okay, and you guys, it's put on by the Southwest Ohio Wrestling Coaches Association. Is that correct?
Yes, we are an association that's about 75 to 80 program deep, covering all three divisions here in Cincinnati.
Okay. So, biggest thing when you look at this, obviously, how many teams total will be at the Glen Sample?
We're going to have 46 schools that'll be represented. Two of those are schools that are here on an individual basis. Western Hills High School and Hughes High School, they've got individual contracts. And then 44 other schools will be here.
Okay, so we should see some really good, obviously, some great wrestling down there. And this is right before people can hit this right before Christmas and right before the big holiday tournaments, right?
Yeah, for sure. So down here we've got the Cincinnati one. Dayton's got their version, but we got a lot of schools that also like to make those trips up north. You know, Brecksville, Medina. So this is a good stop for them in between those.
And then you have some teams at this event who also go to like Ironman and stuff like that. You have LaSalle and a couple other teams that are also in conjunction in December. They got meat grinder schedules. They're not hiding from anybody down there in Cincinnati. I like that.
No, not at all. And I mean, everybody in Cincinnati knows it too. We're always going to be looked at as little brothers and stuff. So I mean, anytime we can try to beat our chest and get some wins up there, we're gonna put ourselves through the grind down here to prep our guys for not just state, but when they get to Ironman, when they get to Brecksville, those bigger events, see what we can do for there.
Are your defending champs in this LaSalle? Are they
They
defending
are.
champions? Okay, so
Yep.
LaSalle's your defending team champions. And then you have Kentucky, and is there Indiana teams as well?
There's no Indiana schools this year. We've had them in the past, but I don't know if Indiana. I think they still got the can't compete on Sundays kind of thing. So that's kind of made it tricky with getting some of those programs up. But we have, I think, 6 schools out of Kentucky that'll be here. Most of them are northern Kentucky, close to Cincinnati, but we got a Great Crossing out of Lexington, and then Boyle County. They're down by like Paducah. They're like real deep in Kentucky, and both those schools have been top 10 finishers in their state tournament the last few years.
Great Crossing also goes to Perrysburg because Sammy Murdoch is one of my
Yep.
college teammates, and he's one of the coaches at Great Crossing. So I like to
Yep.
hear that. I'm going to run into the Murdoch. I love running into the
Yep.
Murdoch. He's
Yep.
my guy. He's my guy. I did an interview with him last year at Perrysburg. But you talk about this tournament. It's a 40+ team tournament, just shy of 50. It's a lot of logistics to put a tournament on like this. And then you're right in the holiday season. The travel can get crazy. I mean, you're only 2 days technically before it. People are going to get home on the 23rd. Some of them are going to get home late, right? And then like, it's
Yep.
a quick turnaround for Christmas, and then they're heading out to another holiday tournament. What's it like doing it in this hectic time of the year in December?
It's crazy is the one thing I think I do every year from like 2 weeks on and then a week on. I'm checking the weather app, because that's my biggest fear, man, is like some mother of a snowstorm comes in and then just completely derails the event or teams canceling. But honestly, like SWOCA, like our association, they do such a tremendous job with pitching in. I might be the person that's out there pointing and directing and assigning, but these programs, they step up, they work the tables, they run the hospitality room, they're working the admission. Um, it's a benefit because the last 3 years now, like I work at Middletown, I'm in the athletic department. So now there's not any kind of gaps in communication. Like I'm the person that I would be connecting with from that school. Like I'm the school rep now, and I'm also the tournament director rep. And that makes it a lot easier too. So I can control everything. My mind's at ease, a lot of it easier. For years, we've had it at multiple different locations, different high schools, different colleges have had it before as a host. And that's where it can get a little squirrely too, is like it's the trust, to make sure that everything is set and right. And they've never had issues, but my mind, the way it works, man, I'm always going to be worried about something. So trying to think, but not overthink.
You've got like a who's who among the list. I'm looking at it right now. Okay. One's an infamous place that no longer exists. I won't say rest in peace to this place because it was the worst state tournament venue. You know where I'm talking. Cincinnati Gardens.
Oh yeah.
Oh, thank you. Worst state tournament venue in history. But you've had it at University of Cincinnati, the Bearcats. You've had it at the Cincinnati Coliseum, Mount St. Joe. You're a Mount St. Joe alum, and
Yeah.
the connection here is Mount St. Joe, by the way.
Yeah.
For me at least, I know you didn't wrestle there, but Josh Sassby, my guy with Barbarian Apparel, right?
Oh yeah.
My guy.
Yep.
But Josh is the one who made the connection between us for me to come down and check out what you guys got going on. But you guys have had this thing, and then Mason High School, Oak Hills, Harrison, and then this is the third straight year at Middletown, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And yeah, Cincinnati Gardens, man. Jeez. I wasn't around when I was there. I just remember going to watch some Cyclones games, man, and going there for a dollar beer night, I think, in college. But yeah, it used to be the UC Invitational. Glenn Sample, that's who it's named after. That's a big prominent figure with University of Cincinnati. He was actually the official scorekeeper for the Cincinnati Reds for like decades. Um,
Really?
oh yeah, so
That's wild.
this dude did everything. So he was pretty big, instrumental guy in the wrestling community, especially at UC when they had a team. So that's where I think it was about probably 7 or 8 years ago. I think is when the association decided to put his name on the event, which is overdue. So, but we're excited to have it in Middletown.
That's awesome. Okay, so Middletown is the hometown of Vice President-elect JD Vance. That's correct, right? And he went to Middletown High School, didn't he?
That is correct. I'm going to give you a quick rundown on Middletown. I got to shine a light on my
Oh,
middies. Are you ready for this?
yeah, go. Wait. Are you Middletown alum?
I am not. I'm
Okay,
from Cincinnati, but I'll tell you what, man. I'm pretty loyal. I love this place. They treat me right and their family. But I'm gonna give you a quick rundown.
go.
All right, NBA Hall of Famer Jerry Lucas, who won a high school state title, college NCAA title at Ohio State, Olympic gold medalist, and then won an NBA title with the New York Knicks. He's a Middletown Midi. NFL Hall of Famer Chris Carter, Minnesota Vikings. He's a Middletown Midi. World Series champion. I'm trying not to upset you here because I know you're a big Tribe guy. World Series champion Kyle Schwarber of the Chicago Cubs,
Oh,
the Red Sox.
Schwarber drives me
Schwarber.
insane.
I'll show you his jersey when you get here, man. He's a Middletown man. Kayla Harrison, two-time Olympic gold medalist in judo, currently in the UFC. Hopefully, a future
Kayla
UFC
Harrison is
champion.
from freaking Middletown, Ohio.
Watch the last pay-per-view. She got it on there. It says fighting out of somewhere in Florida, but then it says by way of Middletown, Ohio. She is a Middletown Midi. And then of course we've got Butch Carter, Chris Carter's brother. I don't know if you know about Butch. He was the head coach of the Toronto Raptors. So, and then if you want to go on a college side, you got Jalen Marshall, Ohio State, former New York Jet. These are all Middletown Middies, man. I hope you're ready.
They're cranking them out over there, man. And now they
We're
got
trying.
the V POTUS, right? The V POTUS elect.
And then, yeah, of course, we got JD Vance, whose niece is actually one of my girl assistant wrestling coaches, too. So,
No way.
yeah, yeah.
That's crazy, man. And you know
Shout
what?
out, shout out to Megan Ratliff. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's awesome.
look out for that guy. I think that I'm not like a real super political guy on the podcast, but
Yeah, yeah.
look at that guy. He's got all the makings of a star and a long run in politics, and then as a younger guy, not like an
Yeah.
old Ronald Reagan, Joe Biden type, because those guys are 70s and 80s. They're the two oldest presidents ever, right? Like JD
Yeah.
Vance is going to have a shot at it in 2028, and his pedigree speaks to it. The Ohio State University, Yale Law, right?
Yep.
Like
Yep.
and
Yep.
obviously the vice president elect. He's a star. Look out for him. I mean, definitely. I mean, whether no matter what your politics are, he is a really, really polished guy. And you've seen his life story. You definitely wouldn't think that though, right?
No, no. And I have not had the fortunate interaction to meet him or anything yet, but everything I've heard from, the people who have been in this school district, since he was, I think he graduated here in 2003. Everything I've heard is is what you would want in somebody to be a leader. I don't get too political. I really don't. But a leader is a leader. So that's kind of how I looked at him. That's what I've heard about him.
Yeah, I mean that's yeah. So I mean that's crazy because now you say all these other Jerry Lucas, right? Kyle Schwarber, but we're talking about JD Vance. That's crazy, like a guy
Yeah.
who it's not for his athleticism, obviously, it's for his
Right.
mind, right? So
Yeah.
awesome stuff, humble beginnings. So you're the girls head coach, correct?
Yes.
Tell
Yes.
me about that. I was at the Women of Ironman last week or when it was 2 weeks ago. Jeez, oh Pete, it's all running together now at this point, Joe. But Women of Ironman, what do you think? Could you be in that tournament in the future? And what do you think of the growth of high school wrestling in the state of Ohio?
Yeah. I think
The
it's
girls high
definitely
school wrestling, girls high
for
school.
sure. Oh yeah. Yeah. So absolutely. Like when I was coaching on the boys side, this is my 21st year coaching high school wrestling, not all at Middletown, but a couple other stops. Ironman is always like that's the goal. Like, let's get somebody that can perform at a younger age, right? To where you get that invitation or get that inquiry and stuff. So absolutely, with our girls team, like we talk about it. We had a freshman last year. She was a match away from making it the state. So like, all right, let's sophomore year, let's take the next steps and let's go wrestle at the Women of Ironman. In terms of the growth, I mean, it is crazy. It is like wildfire. It's not to make light of like COVID, but like I look at like remember the COVID maps, and it would be like, here's how many cases are in this area, and then it kept growing and growing and growing, and now it's like the whole world's taking it. I feel like that with girls wrestling. Like before, you were looking at the state association was running it in Ohio here, but even then before that, like I was class of '03. I remember watching Vanessa Oswald wrestle for Mount Vernon and start beating dudes at the St. X Invitational. That was my first glimpse of like something is coming, it's brewing, it's about to explode. And
Dude,
now you're just
hey,
looking at a
hey,
rate where it's like it's crazy.
yes. My first memory of a real serious girl wrestler in high school in Ohio was Vanessa Oswalt at the weight invite. Okay. So every time I see her, I have to talk to her, whether I interview her or not. I'm like, dude, I remember you were the first person where I was, and she's been on my podcast before. Vanessa's great, right? I remember her like legit in the quarterfinals beating a really pretty good dude, right? And it wasn't like she caught it, like she just beat the guy. Fundamentally beat the guy. And she was like a 19 pounder, I want to say, a 12 or a
Yeah,
19, right? And I was,
yeah,
and she's legit, she's tough. And then, of course, since her, we've had obviously the Shores, right? Okay, Olivia Shore is probably one of the better ones out of Ohio. Deer Wester, kind of craft now. I mean, but like she's for me, like you're saying, Vanessa Oswald's the first one where I was like, oh, this is the thing, right?
yeah. And I mean, like we watched the, I got a rule for myself as a coach. Like I don't go to the state tournament unless I have to be there to coach. So like I've never actually gone to the state tournament to be a spectator because that's just for me personally. Like that's been a goal of mine. Like that's how I push myself as a coach. I need a reason to go there. So we're watching the matches, online and stuff, and I'm watching with some of my girls teams, and I'm pointing out Vanessa, and it's just crazy because like we don't know each other, we've never met, but like I distinctively remember watching this girl go on the mat. And of course, you're going to have some guys that are going to snicker about it. They're going to make their jokes. But then when you watch what she was capable of doing, and the Shores is a good example. We got to watch that. Chloe Deerwester, like I grew up wrestling her dad. We wrestled each other all through high school. And
Rob's my guy. I want you to know Rob's my guy.
Rob's the man, man. So
Rob's
it's
the
like,
man.
yeah. And so the fact that we are so close geographically to Harrison, and the success that they've had, I mean, that goes back years, with them starting their youth club and stuff. So us being around it, like we can kind of like mooch off of that, in terms of like getting our girls down to their wrestling room and getting more involved with USA Wrestling, which is what we did this past off season. Just get more and more invested with USA Wrestling and the freestyle circuit, especially on the girls side. But we're just trying to grow it, man. I think we had 4 girls last year at the high school program. We got 9 this year, but I've also got 8 middle schoolers now that are wrestling. So like it's there. They want to do it. It's just now it's to a point where we got to get creative with the scheduling of the practice room because in order for the girls to truly feel empowered and independent, they need to have ownership of that wrestling room. And the split practices is tough, but we're getting through it. But we're hoping that we get creative for next year. We got more numbers and now we have these all-girl practices, and that's where I think it'll really explode.
We talk girls wrestling. You're the girls coach, but you're also an official. Did you got a lot going on? When do you have time to do anything else, man? How many years have you been a high school official?
I've been certified. That was the first thing I did when I got my first head coaching gig. The guy I took over for, I used to coach down at Oak Hills in Cincinnati, and he told me the first thing you should do as a head coach is go get licensed. So I've actually only officiated maybe like one or two events ever, but I go to all the meetings. I listen to the instruction, the different rules, points of emphasis, get to know the officials. And then, yeah, there's gamesmanship. Like I can point to a Cincinnati referee and I'm going to tell you how they're going to call stalling. And I'm going to tell you how they call this or how they have feelings in terms of how they mitigate a match and manage feelings and whatnot. So I don't do a whole lot of the actual officiating per se, but I've been certified for about 12 years, 13 years, I think.
Okay, real quick, give me your assessment of my guy Elliot. Elliot Spence, give me. First, I'm an Elliot guy. I got to be honest with you. I think he's a great young up and coming official, but I think that's one of the better officials in Ohio. You don't have to really give me an assessment, but would you agree? Pretty good official, and he's a Cincinnati
Yeah.
guy.
Well, and you're asking one of his best friends. So like so
No, I'm like he's really good.
yeah. No, he's super solid. The stuff he's done for our local association on the officiating side is crazy in terms of the financial stuff, the videos that they do in their instruction. He's legit, man. We need more of him. That's the biggest thing is we talk about the average age of officials all the time, and we need more Elliot Spences so we can drop that average age.
How about he's an NCAA finalist in Fremont St. Joe? How crazy is that?
It was the wildest thing. I'll never forget seeing CBS Sports would do like your college minute where they would show like it was a commercial break and they'd show like a 2 minute thing of like here's these sports that nobody cares about and what happened. And there was Elliot Spence wrestling in the NCAA finals. I was like, holy smokes, he's on CBS. This is crazy.
That's awesome. Managing this, putting out fires. Have you ever had like a week before situation with Glenn Brand here and the Coaches Classic? Have you ever had a situation where somebody pulls out and you try to add another local team, or does that not happen?
So it's happened before. My locals at first weren't too sure of me doing this, but you get a call from Brecksville and they say, hey, we can't go to, I think it was the Beast of the East. This was in the December of 21 because we didn't do an event in 2020. So 21, I guess the protocols or whatever it was. So I got Gary Wise from Beaver Creek and Nick Hensley at Lebanon saying, hey, Coach Haverdill over at Brecksville wants to come to SWOWCA. And it's like October like 20th or something. So yeah, like you're not gonna say no to Brecksville. I mean, that's the whole point of us putting an event. It's the whole point of getting you involved and helping spread the words because like we need to knock that down, that barrier, bring some of these northern schools down. My fires, honestly, I don't know, it's more like internal in terms of like I think of Wi-Fi, I think of stuff like that, because we run it on track. But I haven't had an issue with like schools pulling out. I think Brecksville might have been the only time I've ever added a school late. Otherwise, we kind of keep it the way it is, the timeline.
Well, I need to start calling it SWOCA so people will take me seriously.
Yes. Call it SWOCA, call it the Classic, whatever. Yeah.
SWOCA, Coaches Classic, Southwest Ohio Wrestling Coaches Association, SWOCA. To shorten that up, we're going to call it SWOCA. But talk to me about a preview. Are the Lancers of LaSalle going to have enough depth to get it done this year? One of the Kentucky teams be able to do it? An Ohio team, who do you see and what can I be looking forward to as a guy who's going to come down and call matches, talk to people? What should I be looking for at SWOCA this year?
Yeah, I'd say team-wise, I mean, you're the champs until somebody knocks you off. So, I mean, LaSalle's got it going on right now. I'm not sure what the status of Carson Thomas because it looks like he's doing more like some of the college stuff. So I don't know if
he is not wrestling in high school this year. He's not.
Yeah. So, and I mean, that's a big blow, but I mean, be ready because from what I've heard, they've got a couple of young ones, a couple of freshmen coming in that are going to be solid. But outside of them, and like Moeller, if Moeller's got all their football guys, they were just in the state finals. I honestly think that's like probably the team to beat. But outside of those two, Elder's going to be up there. Lebanon, Harrison's got a ton of guns. I think Great Crossing's got a heck of a squad, man. Like we saw some of those guys last year at the Edgewood Invite. I mean, they come to Ohio a lot, and there's a reason. Obviously, the guy's from up here. He knows what Ohio wrestling means for his guys and prepping them for their state. So I look at Great Crossing. Individual wise, like you got guys like Kane Shawger over at St. X, like, third place as a freshman. I mean, that kid's a dog. Yeah, I mean, there's
no Springboro. I'm very disappointed in no Springboro. And I actually said something to him at Ironman, because I think Kowalski placed, he got 7th. I was like, oh, I'm going to be down in Cincinnati. And they're like, yeah, we don't go to that. And I was like, what? That's a bummer. I was bummed out.
yeah.
I like their upper weights are really good.
Oh, absolutely. I love Dayton. I want those guys to come down. We got 4 other Dayton schools that are coming down. Centerville, Beaver Creek, Fairmont, and then
so I'm saying they're right in the area. They're with those schools. They're right in the area and the same size as those schools you just mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, Springboro, I can get to Springboro from Middletown in about 15 minutes. So,
yeah,
I mean, they're right there. So
you get my point, right?
Hey, maybe they see this video and Freddie Bolton's like, all right, I'll come. All right.
Yeah, he can't win them all though. But hey, maybe Carson Thomas gets a little, a little maybe
get that itch, man. Yeah, that'd be nice.
My thing is with Carson Thomas, okay, so that they were supposed to move down, right? LaSalle was supposed to go to D2. Did you know that?
I did.
And then I believe they opted to stay 1, right?
I do. And the only thing I'm wondering about that too is, so in their conference, there's only 4 schools. All right. That's LaSalle, Elder, Moeller, St. Xavier. Elder, which is traditionally Division I and everything, they were supposed to be D2 in sports like soccer, baseball, and I believe basketball. And they also opted up to D1. And so I'm wondering how much of a decision was that from LaSalle or versus the conference saying, if you were a D1, you're going to stay D1, but they're football for D2. So I'm not sure if this is more of the move from their athletic department, the conference, the coach. I can't comment on that. I'm not too sure what those look like, but I was disappointed because when I see Graham go in D3 and then I see LaSalle's at D2 and I'm like, okay, you still got schools like, Buckeye, there's some dogs and stuff, but Cincinnati, we got excited because we're like, hey, this is going to happen. Like, we're going to have a team state champion.
Perkins, Watterson, DeSales, Buckeye. Yeah, I mean, you got a bunch of stuff, right? Yeah, you're not wrong. Wasion.
Right.
It's winnable. It's the point. It's very doable. It's super hard. And LaSalle, was it 5-6 years ago? They were nip tuck with St. Ed's to win the title. There. Just didn't quite. They had some guys get injured. Things happen, and then they didn't end up winning, right? But
yeah.
That's just how that D1 tournament is such a numbers game, man. It's such a numbers game, right? Give me some outliers. Give me some D3 teams that'll be there. D2, D3 teams that, we're talking about all the big dogs, right? We're talking about the big D1s, but give me some D2s, D3s that'll be at SWOWCA.
Yeah. I think who leads the charge every year is Walton Verona. They're out of Northern Kentucky. They're a small school. They only got about 250 boys. These dudes are hammers. Dalton Mayer came through there. He's currently wrestling over at he started at Thomas More, but I think he transferred to a D1 program now. TJ Meyer, he's a returner, 2-time state finalist. I believe he won state 2 years ago, and then I think he was a runner-up last year and stuff. So I look at Walton Verona. They're the ones that are going to be leading the charge there in terms of the small school. We need more small schools though, man. Like, the ones we have, they're great. We need more, though. I think out of 46 schools, I want to say the ones that would be classified as non-D1 in Ohio, there's probably only like maybe 9 schools. And so we're trying to.
Is there Troy Christian? Is there Legacy Christian? Is there any of them that are?
Legacy Christian Academy. They're here too.
Okay. Adesano was an Ironman placer. So.
Yep, Adesano. There's another one I'm drawing the blank on. The younger brother of the kid that just won the 4 titles last year.
Campbell?
Yeah, I think there's another Campbell coming through.
Yeah, I think there's another Campbell as well. Yeah, I mean,
so,
Legacy Christian's got guys. They still got guys. They got a team. They got guy placing an Ironman. They're going to be formidable. They got
sure.
So, and then they'd won the last 3 titles up until last year when Edison knocked them off
Yep.
and Martinsville
Yep.
was runner up. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think they're definitely worth mentioning, right? They're
Yeah,
worth
absolutely.
mentioning. So what is our format? What's the Saturday format? What's the Sunday format for SWOCA?
Yeah. Saturday, we're going to run this event starting on 9 mats. It's the most mats we've done before. So we'll have 4 in the arena, or I'm sorry, 5 in the arena, 4 in the auxiliary gym. It's one doorway. Like you can put one foot in one space and one foot in the other space. No always the walk down or anything like that. So we're going to run starting at 10 a.m. I anticipate us to run all rounds that take us to where the only guys coming back day 2 are top 8 placers. So that first round right off the rip on Sunday, you're going 3 mats and you're going semifinals. And then we're going to go the console quarters. And then we're going to wrestle all placement matches. So the final round is going to be nothing but 1 mat. We're going to put on a pretty decent little show. When you see the arena, I'm confident you're going to be blown away. It's nothing you've ever seen before in a high school. I promise you. We've got some large video boards. We've got runway. These kids are going to have walkout music for the finals. And then what we do is we always kind of put a feature match at the end. So we figure out, if it's 157 that we want at the very end, that means the finals are going to start at 165.
So Iron Man does the same thing. Iron Man
Yeah.
put Bo Bassett last, or whoever. I forget even who they put last. Yeah, it was Bo Bassett. He was last.
Yeah.
So he got the tech fall. He got the brick in a dryer. Some poor dude from like Arizona or wherever the guy would ever go. I just watched it today.
Yeah. So I mean, it'll be good. Like we're trying to build it up for these guys. We've only had 2 people in the history of this event be 4-timers, and that's Willie Weinberg. Did it when he was wrestling at Fairfield. Now Willie Weinberg returns to this term as the head coach of Miamisburg, and then Corey Shy out of LaSalle, who ended up going to West Point. So there's only 2 guys that have ever won 4 titles.
Corey Shy was a
hammer. Like he was a
Corey Shy was
bully,
tough, dude.
He looked like you beat up his entire family before he went on the match, and that's how he took it on you. Like he looked like he was going to fight everybody in the crowd whenever he wrestled. That's just how he was. A super heavy-handed kid,
super tough. Man, Cincinnati's got some guys, man. I'm excited to come down and get there, check everything out. Any good stories for me in the past from the tournament?
I'm laughing because I don't even know why. When you talked about putting out fires, would you believe that my first year running this event, the biggest fire I had to put out was because I had a dad sneak into the hospitality room, and then when he was confronted while trying to steal a donut, he went nose to nose with my moms that are working the hospitality room. So that's probably my best story, is that I had to have a guy removed because he would not
the cops
put the donut
get involved.
down.
Cops?
We had to get the cops involved. We had to. Dude, it was insane.
Did you give him the donut? Did he get the donut?
I was more than fine. I don't care about a donut. I mean, like, come on. But I guess I had a mom who's like, nope, it's not happening. You don't got the wristband. And so all heck went to loose, man. But no, it's good, man. We had some, we gave out trophies for the top 2 teams. Last year, the second place trophy, it came down to like a semifinal match. I mean, that was pretty exciting. And then somebody cashed in on finals, and Harrison out, pointed on Moeller. So we had a year where I think the title was determined by half a point. That was probably like 6 or 7 years ago. Fairfield, I think, won it by half a point, or Harrison, one or the other. But it's always got some good little storylines here and there and stuff. There's always something that happens. So.
What are you trying? What's your aim? Because a lot of these people are moving. A lot of these tournaments are moving to like a 2 p.m. final. What's your aim for the finals?
I get that all the time. I usually give you the political answer, but I'll give it to you straight. Last year, we started the finals. I want to say it was like 2:30. But again, if we do what I want to do on day 1, we're going to come into day 2 at the same time, but running 1 less round. So it wouldn't surprise me if we started finals at like 1 or 1:30.
Gotcha. And then that'll be a quick, like 45-minute break, tear down, get rid of the mats, make it 1 spotlight. Spotlight?
No spotlight.
No spotlight.
We have
one mat.
We have the capability for spotlight, but I've always asked like officials what they think about it, and they actually tell me they hate it because it creates too many shadows in terms of like seeing joints manipulating or the out of bounds. So I don't want to mess with it. And so, but carpet runway, nice purple runway, good walkout music. It'll be a good show. I'm excited
Got
for
me
it.
fired up. I'm fired up. I can't wait for SWOWCA
Yeah,
now, man.
yeah.
Um, so what's our start time on Sunday? 9 on Saturday. What's Sunday?
We're going Saturday's 10 a.m. Sunday is at 9:30.
Okay. So 10 then 9:30. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. I
Yeah,
like
and
it.
you're looking at 3 rounds of wrestling basically before you have everything set for the final.
Okay. What high school did you go to?
I went to Oak Hills High School down in Cincinnati.
Okay. Is that where Pete Rose went?
That was where Pete Rose went to Western Hills, which is like right down the road. His son went to Oak Hills, but Pete went to
Oh,
Western Hills.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Rest in peace, by the way.
yeah, for
Big
sure, for
fan, man.
sure.
Charlie Hustle. I'm a big fan of Charlie Hustle.
Yep, absolutely.
Like huge fan, man. I can't say I love Charlie Hustle. Hopefully they after death posthumously what's the word?
Posthumously, I think.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
what
know,
it is.
man. I
Right?
don't teach English, Zeb. I'm an athletics guy. I don't know about English like that.
Are,
So
are
it's
you
something.
are you a teacher?
No, I'm the assistant athletic director. I don't. Yeah.
So
So
that you don't have another job, you're the assistant to AD and a big
that's right.
D1 school, and that's what does it.
Yep, that's what it does, man.
What degree did you get from Mount St. Joe?
I had just a general studies degree, and then I got my athletic administration master's at Ohio University.
Okay. Go Bobcats. Oh,
Yeah.
you, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Any kids? Do you have any kids of your own?
I have three. I got two daughters. Not wrestling yet. They're just starting into like jujitsu and stuff. They're like sixth grade and second grade. And then I got a 4-year-old boy who's an absolute terror. So it's coming. I'm being patient, but I'm glad you asked that because I'm proud of my kids. And it's one of the biggest reasons why I went to the girls' side. I wanted my daughters to see that dad can coach girls, and then I wanted my daughters who come to all the wrestling stuff. I wanted them to see what it looks like when girls are competing in our sport, so that can help empower them too.
Are they old enough to be totally way smarter than you yet, or not? Are they not there yet?
They are absolutely there yet. It's ridiculous, dude. it's so dumb. I work at a high I
Oh,
work at a high school, so I feel like I got the leg up on everybody in terms of like what's in the music, all that stuff. And I swear my sixth grader will put something on. And I'm like, who the hell is this? Like
what is
I
this
don't even know it.
garbage?
I don't even know. And I'm like just sitting there recycling all the memories of my dad doing it to me. So it's
I,
crazy.
listen, I was listening to the American Top 40 the other day with like Ryan Seacrest, right?
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
Ryan Seacrest, right? That's who it
Yeah.
is, I believe, right? And they got to like the top 6 or 7, and it was like the songs are really bad.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't listen to
Yeah.
the radio. The radio I listen to is like classic, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I don't hear pop music. So these are the top songs in the world, or North America, which is the world culturally, right? North
Yeah.
America, United States of America. And I was like, these songs are really bad. Like
Like
these
it's
songs
there's
are
no
not good.
creativity. There's no
None.
creativity, man. It's
And then
crazy to
the
me.
the number one song was, I wanna say, Bruno Mars and maybe Lady Gaga, maybe. I don't know. It was
Okay.
awful. I was like, this
Yeah.
is the number one song in North America. And what's
Yeah.
wild is um, Bruno Mars's guitar tech lives 2 miles down the road. He lives in the same neighborhood as
Oh
RP.
no way. That's wild.
And I'm like, Bruno Mars is probably a pretty good guy. I just don't like his music that much.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
That's funny.
I don't think I'm gonna get hooked into a Bruno Mars concert anytime
No.
soon. I think I'm all set. But I was like, this is the number one song.
Oh, I know it. It's crazy, man. Like I got made fun of by my kids here at the high school during wrestling practice. I started listening to Lil Wayne. They're like, tell me how old that is. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Oh yeah.
I was like, dude,
Lil
you're
Wayne's
killing me
good.
right now.
Lil
I'm like,
Wayne's
come on,
good.
man.
He's
And
good.
then Metallica is oldies now. Like, what
Yeah.
the heck is
Oh heck,
happening, dude?
on my station I listen to now Nirvana, Metallica, Soundgarden, and all that is mixed in with the Eagles,
Oh yeah, that's
Pink
classic rock now, man.
Floyd, Led Zeppelin, Cream, name classic rock, Bob Seger. That's all mixed in. Grunge is mixed into it now. And I'm
Yep.
like, oh man, this is
It's
classic rock.
another. I'll tell you this right now. You want your age check, your reality check and age. We have a database where we do final forms. That's where like paperwork, physicals, all that stuff, right? But when they list these kids on my roster, they don't put 9, 10, 11, 12 for grade. They put the graduation year.
Oh yeah,
So
I
now,
can't do that.
and so I'm in charge of middle schoolers too, right? For my athletics role. So I'm looking at kids that are graduating in 2030. I'm like, there's no way this is happening, man. That's
So
crazy.
wild. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got a son who graduates in 2034. When's your sixth grade daughter? She 2031?
31. Yeah.
31, yeah.
And
It's
then my 4-year-old will be 2039.
I got a 2034 and a 2036.
Okay. Yeah, I
So
got mine are spaced out to where it's like when one is in 12th grade, the next one's in eighth. And then when she's in 12th grade, the next one's in eighth. And so on the surface, I'm like, okay, I can do that. And then I just stare at my wife. I'm like, that's 12 straight years of a high schooler.
woo,
That's
man,
a
they're gonna
lot.
know so much more than you then even.
So much. It's gonna be ridiculous.
Uh will you do the athletic directors pay into the OPERS or the STRS, or what do you guys pay into for
Yeah, it's SERS
it's SERS?
locally.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I heard that one's better. I think Eric Burnett's in that one and he gets to leave a little earlier than us, his teacher too.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I've been told as well too. I mean,
Lucky
dude, I
dog.
dude, I got a sweet gig, man. I'm not even gonna be shy about it or anything. Like I'm literally around sports. I was a jock my whole life, and the other part of my life is I'm coaching wrestling. Like, what could be better?
Yeah, you sound like Harbaugh's old man. Who's got it better than us? Uh,
Nobody. Yeah.
Nobody, right? Yeah. All right. You got anything else for me? What about my guy Josh? Are we gonna have a barbarian? Is barbarian gonna be there?
Oh man! Not only do we got Josh will be showing that ugly dome of his, so he'll
Oh, it's
he'll
a
be
big one.
there.
It's a big globe. It's a
It's
big
not as
globe.
big as Elliott Spence, but it's big. But
True. That's true. I'll
Josh,
give you that.
yeah, Josh has been one of the biggest instrumental pieces to SWOCA. So he'll be there. He'll be selling gear. We've got 3 of his wrestling mats that'll be used just to help get his logo out there and stuff. He's killing it. He's been wonderful for this event. So it's been good.
Right now, I got this new hoodie. I got this sick OAC jacket.
I
Man,
like that.
I have so much with an arm's reach right now in my studio here. I got a lot. I mean, I got all the backpacks up here.
Yeah,
One, two, three. I got 3 backpacks. I mean, he takes care of me. So conquer the impossible, man. And I got to post a video on him. As soon as we get off here, I'm going to post a couple videos. But all right, Joe, you got anything else for me?
Other than I just need your t-shirt size, man, because you're gonna get some MIDI gear when you get down here. So I gotta make sure I take care of you.
Okay. So December 21st, 22nd, it'll be on GOhioCast. We'll have all different types of videos, interviews, matches, highlights posted on the GOhioCast YouTube, on the GOhioCast Instagram, SWOCA in Middletown, Ohio, Southwest Ohio Coaches Association, correct?
You got it.
SWOCA will be there. Coach, stick around. We'll talk a little bit, and I appreciate your time, all right?
You got it. I appreciate you, Zeb. Thank you.